Well, this handsome one has something to boast about. From Operation Desert Storm, when an F-16 Fighting Falcon dodged not one, but 6 surface-to-air missiles, to Israel in '81, when such jets bombed a reactor in Iraq and returned without a single loss. These days, though, the F-16 is up against a whole new kind of challenge. Will the Falcon reclaim its historic status, or will the ruthless Russian-Ukrainian war bring an end to its illustrious 50-year career? Do you think this impressive fighter stands a chance to show its worth? Let us know with a thumbs up. Word has it that the F-16 encounters its fair share of troubles even before it takes to the skies. Allegedly, Ukrainian airfields may not meet the necessary standards for the F-16 aircraft. Apparently, concerns revolve around the fragility of the F-16's landing gear. Also, debris could possibly be drawn into the aircraft's air intake located under the fuselage, potentially causing serious malfunctions. But let's be real here. That's just a story made up by the media for the sake of catchy headlines. After all, these matters were settled decades back. F-16 jets have already landed at Ukrainian airfields as part of the Safe Skies training. Moreover, in Egypt, most military airfields are built using Soviet-style concrete airfield slabs, and there are currently 220 F-16s in operation. We suggest focusing on what truly poses a threat, primarily Russian attacks on Ukrainian airfields. As soon as the fighter jets arrive in Ukraine, make no doubt, the Russians will immediately start their hunt. Is it possible to defend the F-16 Fighting Falcon against Russian ground strikes? To give a reasonable answer, let's look at previous aviation losses during the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. Just 10 days after Russia invaded Ukraine, the Russian Ministry of Defense reported the destruction of practically all combat-ready aviation in Ukraine.
Практически вся боеспособная авиация киевского режима уничтожена.
Well, to put it mildly, it turned out to be untrue. It's noteworthy that the Ukrainian air forces are still operating. According to independent analysts at Oryx, Ukraine's air force lost 73 combat aircraft, while Russians lost 90. This number aligns with the estimates provided by General James Hecker, who serves as the commander of the US Air Force in Europe and Africa. However, at the time this video was created, only 6 Ukrainian fighter jets have been destroyed on the ground. Moreover, 3 of them were destroyed in the first days of the invasion, and 3 more in the fall of 2023. It appears that the Ukrainians have a firm grip on the situation. However, recent strikes on Ukrainian airfields cast doubt on this belief. Russians have reached Ukrainian aircraft at the airfield at Dovinstev, located 40 to 45 miles from the front line. The strikes on Dovinstev marked the debut of a new version of the Russian Lancet loitering munition. This 35-pound kamikaze drone typically operates as part of a group with specialized reconnaissance drones. Armored vehicles have long been the preferred targets, but now airplanes have become the focus of attacks. According to the Institute for Science and International Security, Lancet demonstrates a high level of autonomy and significant obstacle avoidance. The Lancet poses a significant challenge to air defense systems, making it rightfully the foremost threat to the F-16 mission in Ukraine. Well, Ukraine's Air Force will need to steer clear of airfields near the front line that lack concrete air shelters. Still, will this eliminate the constant concern of Russian missile strikes? In this scenario, the Falcon would have really benefited from the Patriot. In Western military doctrine, this system is specifically employed to protect airfields. However, Ukrainians are unlikely to have such a prospect, so pilots will have to rely on their own skills and try to dodge Russian missiles. Well, it's not all doom and gloom. Ukraine's air forces are actually employing the tactics known in Western doctrine as ACE, Agile Combat Employment. The same tactic is practiced by the air forces of Sweden and Taiwan, and in Japan, it is called Koku Jeitai. ACE's success relies on having the upper hand in information. Early warning of Russian missile attacks provides enough time to disperse aircraft to remote airfields. Ukrainian pilots almost never take off and land at the same airfield, according to General James Hecker, commander of the US Air Forces in Europe and Africa. At first glance, it seems like a simple concept. After all, missiles only hit based on coordinates. Despite facing logistical hurdles with fuel and weapons, along with the task of servicing various aircraft simultaneously, It is a marvel that the Ukrainian Air Force has managed to stay one step ahead of the Russian forces for over 2 years of war, especially considering how challenging it is to maintain an F-16. In the Ukrainian mission, the bar is set high. All 10 planes need to take off simultaneously, a feat far more demanding than the usual benchmark 7 out of 10. This puts it in a league tougher than even Formula One racing. Ukrainian airfields are not the safest places on Earth, though it is possible to survive there. This means that the main adventures await the F-16 in the air. In the areas near the front line, both Russia and Ukraine both have a fairly large number of ADGM and other air defense systems, effectively safeguarding their respective sides on the front line against enemy tactical aviation. No one fully controls the sky. It's unlikely that we'll see any dogfights, Top Gun style, anytime soon. If such a duel does happen, it will be one of the most dramatic battles between an aging but very powerful Western aircraft and one of Russia's best fighters, the Su-35. When it comes to technical specs, the Su-35 outshines the F-16. With a length of 72 feet and a wingspan of 50 feet, the Russian fighter jet is approximately 50% larger than its American counterpart. Its weight is more than 18 tons, twice as much as the Falcons. However, the F-16 boasts greater maneuverability compared to the Su-35. Maneuverability plays a role even in long-range combat. Importantly, the Su-35 is capable of carrying the R-77 and R-37M air-to-air missiles. They have the potential to be pivotal players in this duel. The Su-35's Irbis-E radar has a theoretical range of 249 miles, but it's worth remembering that this figure may be exaggerated. Otherwise, Russian Su-35s wouldn't need to rely on the A-50 for airborne operations. The Ukrainian version of the F-16 has a radar range of only 68 miles, so the Su-35 can detect the F-16 much earlier and therefore attack earlier. Unlike Soviet fighters, the F-16 is equipped with AIM-120 air-to-air missiles, which can independently identify targets. Also, any aircraft is equipped with a radar sensor, so an F-16 pilot can anticipate being tracked, unlike the Soviet MiG-29 and Su-27. Britain's Royal United Services Institute (RUSI) report claims that Russian fighter jets frequently manage to launch R-77-1 missiles at Ukrainian fighter jets at long ranges. During such attacks, Ukrainian pilots have to defend themselves or take risks far beyond their effective range. Once again, this underscores the fact that the Su-35 indeed poses a significant threat to the F-16. However, let's not forget that the Russians most often use the Su-35 to cover the Su-34 carrying guided bombs. In turn, the Su-34 is characterized by poor maneuverability, making it quite vulnerable to the F-16 and potentially an easy target. Aside from the highly valuable Su-35, Russians largely rely on their interceptor MiG-31BM equipped with R-37M missiles, which have poor maneuverability. Evaluating their performance in the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, doubts have also been raised about their reliability. We should not discount the large number of Su-30s, Su-27s, and MiG-29s. Even modernized, they lag far behind the capabilities of the F-16. There are still other threats to the F-16 in the sky. The next potential danger facing the aircraft will be the well-known Russian air defense system, the S-400, classified as the NATO SA-21 Growler. The main types of missiles for the S-400 is the 48N6 family, which, depending on the modification, has a range of 100 to 160 miles. However, in 2022, the Russians started mass production of the 40H6 missiles with a range of approximately 250 miles. The SA-21 Growler becomes particularly dangerous when paired with A-50 Mainstay D AWACS aircraft, which can detect Ukrainian aircraft at distances of up to 120 to 180 miles. It is worth noting that, despite all the difficulties, the Ukrainians have already managed to shoot down as many as 2 A-50 aircraft. To protect themselves from the SA-21 Growler, F-16s can use AGM-88 HARM anti-radar missiles with a range of up to 100 miles. F-16s will likely use standard combat practices to outsmart enemy air defenses, including flying at low altitudes. And finally, it is worth remembering that the F-16 is a universal soldier. It can be equipped with a whole range of missiles at once and be used for various purposes: destroying bridges and headquarters, eliminating drones and missiles, combating enemy aircraft, and even carrying Harpoon anti-ship missiles, thus contributing to the destruction of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. The United States agrees to arm Ukraine's F-16s with a modern AIM-120 medium-range air-to-air missile. The latest version of the AIM-120C8 is estimated to have a range of about 100 miles. That's twice as much as the missiles on Ukrainian fighter jets, which had to fly low to the ground as they approached the front line. By employing the same tactics, the F-16 can pose a threat to Russian bombers carrying guided bombs. This will significantly ease the burden on the Ukrainian ground forces. The F-16 is also a carrier for JDAM-ER munitions. This is a type of guided bomb with a 45-mile range that has already proven itself in this war. Discover more about it in one of our videos. Let's highlight that the F-16 can carry the most powerful 2,000-pound JDAM-ER bombs, capable of breaking through any defense. Eager to witness their impressive capacity on the battlefield? Give this video a thumbs up. The F-16 arsenal also includes long-range precision bombs like the AGM-154 JSOW, with a maximum distance of 80 miles. Its warhead is identical to that used on the Storm Shadow or Scalp EG cruise missile. Since the introduction of the SDB bombs, they've also been integrated into most F-16 aircraft. The bomb itself is small, yet its warhead weighs from 35 to 205 pounds. The aircraft can fly beyond 90 miles, enabling bombs to be dropped from a distance greater than those from Russian FABs with UMPK, all while staying out of reach of Russian air defense systems. Unfortunately, as of today, the Ukrainian mission has a small arsenal of long-range air-to-ground missiles for the F-16. More precisely, there are none at all. Nevertheless, there is hope of further upgrading the aircraft's software to equip it with truly insane AGM-158 JASSM missiles, boasting ranges from 250 to 620 miles. The JASSM missile features an infrared homing head that operates in the terminal phase of the trajectory and enables it to hit targets with pinpoint accuracy and ignore any electronic countermeasures, ECM. JASSMs could be the game changer that turns the F-16 into a silver bullet. Consequently, the F-16 will fall into an edge of difficult and harsh conditions, where it will not be able to dictate the rules. However, it has enough capabilities and weapons to give Russian opponents a hard time. In the last 2 years, Ukrainian pilots have demonstrated that skill and tactics are crucial factors in warfare. So, the Ukrainian mission might just mark the peak of the F-16's legacy. After all, while the names of heroes may fade, the weapons of victory endure in memory.